that idea of overcomplicating a very simple thing.
No, I think we simplify it. I think football's very complicated. I think when you look at the great players, when I look at someone like David Silva and Cesc Fabregas, who cleverly find space between the lines, I think when people can actually do that, I wouldn't be able to do that to that level. So what is that? Is that just instinct? We simplify it as instinct? I don't believe so. I think you've got people that are clever when they read the game. What are they doing? What's the process?
There's a bit in the book about Ronaldo, about an experiment he did where they turn the lights off when a ball is crossed to him. Explain that, because it seems totally ridiculous.
So basically, the top footballers, obviously, they process information from their coaches and they can go out and carry out the instruction. And I think also, in terms of in real time, they do the same. So Ronaldo, in that experiment with Andy Ansar, I can't remember which brand it was, but they had a person who was like an amateur footballer and Ronaldo. And what they would do is these tests where Andy would cross the ball and switch off the light as soon as he made a connection with the ball. And so what they were measuring is how much information did Ronaldo need to anticipate where the ball was going. So as soon as the ball left Andy's foot, they switched off the light, all you heard boom, and then you heard the net just rustle. Goal. They switched the light on the balls in the net. When you had the amateur player,
pitch black.
Pitch black.
I've seen that.
Yeah, so you can look it on YouTube. Then you've got the amateur player, cross, you don't hear anything, misses it. And this is live examples of what's in the book. So when people say, oh, you know, we're overcomplicating it, what was making the difference between Ronaldo and that player? We can say instincts, but we're simplifying it. It's more complex.
Does that come down to ability as well?
But then what is it? So if we say ability...
But I mean, like, why do players play in the Premier League? Why do players play in League Two? And why do these League Two players, if you talk about instinct and giving them so much of this information, let's say on a 6-month basis, right? So you just fill their brain with all this information, instinct, giving them confidence, etc., etc. That player, you can't teach anybody how to get quicker. You know, this player might be 2 or 3 yards shorter than Cristiano Ronaldo, you just mentioned before. You can't then give him 6 months information and go, right, you're going to be as quick as Cristiano Ronaldo. You'll be able to get in behind a centre forward, and in a year's time, you're going to be playing in the Premier League and be as good as Cristiano Ronaldo. There has to be some inner belief and that natural ability, what Max mentioned before. That is in you before you can give anybody any information.
100%. You've got what you have. What you bring to the game naturally will always be a plus. What you bring naturally, but it's not a case of giving information. It's about, as we always do knowing football, about practicing. So Ronaldo wouldn't have had that naturally. But when you keep practicing, when you look at someone like Beck's practicing free kicks, when you look at players who stay out and do extra, that's when you do extra. That's what you're training yourself for those situations, for instinct. It's why Rooney, it's like why Ian Wright used to visualise being in goal scoring opportunities, and they're storing that data in their mind. And I feel that the best coaches it's not about sitting players down and talking and giving information. It's about creating that on the training field. So you might even give a physical example. Then you might actually use an example of a pro that's great at doing it. Then you might just drip little bits to them. But there's different ways of speaking when it comes to developing those players. And that's why I've been watching, since I come out of the game, I've been watching academy football for years and 23s. And I always say the players now are technically more, since I've been in the game and watching, they're the best. I wouldn't say they're the best footballers, but technically they're the best because of contact time and information.
Elvis says, I'm a coach for 11 years. This is spot on. The first time I've read what I think as a coach. Most don't get it, think it, and practice it. I want to move on to the mental side of it and the